What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. Messed up and out of touch, let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Man, I'll tell you, it's It's just crazy going through the news, and each and every day there's quite concerning things, and not in the ways that a lot of people want to make you feel. I'm not talking about in the fear monger, oh my God, we're all going to die, daily routine. You can get that on a ton of different prepper channels. You pick one and you'll hit it. But just some of the oddball stuff really is really crazy. I'm more concerned. Okay, I'm more concerned about Elon Musk's Neuralink than I am Russia having nuclear weapons in space. Okay, just keeping it real. I'm much more concerned about Neuralink than I am the Russians. I'm much more concerned about our own government than I am any other government, to be quite honest. Because we have reached a level in this nation that is absolutely unbelievable. And unfortunately, a lot of folks, in my opinion, are focusing on the wrong things. I don't think that's an accident, though. I think what a lot of it is mainstream media leading people around by the nose. And we have to be very careful of that, because they will do it every single time. Now, I am absolutely going to bring up yesterday, and I realize it's only been a day, but have you heard any more about the trucker boycott? No? Yeah. That was because it was one guy that spouted off. Bunch of other people jumped in behind him, spouting off. And that's going to be the extent of it. Sure, you're going to have some drivers give up their loads. They aren't going to go into New York City. Some, I'm sure, the state. But a lot of these people that have been speaking out loudly weren't going there anyway. So here's the thing. It's the owner-operators that have the freedom to choose when and where they go. A lot of you owner-operators already don't do East Coast runs because they suck. A lot of the people that are doing the East Coast runs are going to be ones that work for companies. They ain't got much of a choice. They either take the load where their dispatcher tells them to take the load, or they're finding another job. Now, that's not every single company, no. But I guarantee you way more often than not. I'm all for doing something. But we need to put our time and energy behind effective things. Trying to shut off the supply chain to New York City is not going to be super effective. And like I said yesterday, you're not going to even touch the ones that you need to be concerned about. The government, the people, the rich people, the politicians, you're not going to touch them. Really? They'll have somebody go get whatever they need. They'll have them drive wherever, fly wherever. It's not going to be an issue to them. The only people that you are going to harm are the individuals that don't have those abilities. That's it. And in turn, you're just turning more people against your cause, which that's not necessarily a good idea. It's kind of humorous, in a sense. It's disappointing, to be honest, but it's kind of humorous watching this protest game go back and forth. When the left does something, the right is saying the very same things that I am saying right now. Now, the left don't do it too much. They don't say these things, but that's because they don't have much opportunity to. That's just the truth. But the right is always saying, well, why are you doing this? You know, you're not going to get people on your side. You're not going to get people to align with you when you're burning down the Little Caesars and the 7-Eleven, and I would agree. But how the hell are you going to get people behind you if you're trying to starve them out? Probably not going to work too well. What is it that our special forces do when they go to other countries? Anybody remember? They try to win over the hearts and the minds of the people. So, Red Team, if you're fighting a war, you're doing it in a really fucked up way that's going to be totally ineffective. I don't know what to tell you. I think I trust things like, the art of war and centuries of fighting over your emotions. It is what it is. I can't help your choices suck. I didn't give them to you. I'm the guy that gets made fun of. I'm the guy that gets kicked to the corner because I tell the truth. Because I want us to do effective things that garner results. And the truth of the matter is, we're nowhere near that yet. Because nobody is willing to sacrifice a damn thing. And until people are willing to sacrifice, we're not going to get anywhere. That's just a matter of fact. And hey, I'm not saying that I want people to sacrifice. I'm not saying it's par for the course. It goes along with it. Throughout all of history, we see examples of people having to sacrifice some, if not all, in order to achieve what they're truly out for. You know, whether it was the disciples giving up everything they owned to follow Jesus, whether it is our military men and women that give up their ability, their capability, and I'm talking about those that get maimed. And then we have those that give all, the ones that don't come back. Those are sacrifices. And sadly enough, our men and women are wasted for unjust wars over lies. And those people at least gave some, if not all. So if we think that as citizens in the United States of America that we're going to right this ship without having to give up anything, without having to sacrifice, you're bullshitting yourself. And while that's fine, you want to bullshit yourself, that's fine. But don't expect to bullshit me. I don't got time for it. I just do not have time for it. It's crazy, folks. We need to get our ship righted at least somewhat so we can see clearly what is before us, what's happening. We don't have anybody on our side. It's us against them. And that's probably the very first thing that we need to have an understanding of. Because all they do is put people out there for you to cheer on and for you to support so that you think that change is coming. Let me know how that's worked out in the last several decades. Because I don't see a whole hell of a lot. It's crazy. I watched earlier before the show. I watched Glenn Beck interview Tucker Carlson. That was a good interview. That was a really good interview. I'm telling you, Tucker, out of anybody in media, he's my favorite. He's my favorite. He calls it as he sees it. Funny, he don't catch so much hell for it. Interesting how that works. Here he goes over to Russia. Shows us how the subways are cleaner and better maintained, how the supermarkets are cleaner, better maintained, and cheaper. If I say that stuff, I'm the devil. I don't know, folks. It's not about how we feel. Has nothing to do with our emotions. And the good book was supposed to have taught us that. It taught me. Wasn't the only thing that taught me. What really taught me, and I was taught before the good book, was me screwing up my life so bad because I led it with emotion. You do that long enough and you screw up enough, and if you're anything like me, I don't like to break things. I like to fix things. And I will do whatever I can to find out what is wrong with something and fix it, including me. So I learned I had to quit leading my life by emotion. And then I had the biggest test of all come my way. The loss of my children. And now, since 2014, January 14th of 2014, I have not seen my children. How damned emotional do you think that is? But I can't act on it. Because if I dare act on it, even by trying to make contact, I'll have a world of shit faster than you could ever imagine. Because we have a corrupt system that will do anything they can to put a divider between fathers and their children. All it takes is a corrupted bitch, and it's all she wrote. All she wrote. And I was dumb enough to get married to somebody that has no ambition, no motivation to do anything themselves. They just want to sit on their ass, collect their check. It is what it is. Even if I had a ton of money, wouldn't do no good. Wouldn't do no good. Look up Cash Jackson. That's not his birth name. But he's a politician that ran in Illinois. Ran for governor. Look up how much money he's thrown at trying to see his children. With no results. None. The harder he tries, the further he gets pushed away from them. It's the way the system is. And the media, whether it be entertainment, news, or otherwise, is doing everything they can to distract as many people as they can from those very things. Because that system would not work if we could stand together. Try bringing that up. The whole damn thing's a taboo topic. And I ask why. Our nation is being dismantled from inside out, starting with the family home. And we're not even allowed to talk about it. Folks, until we start addressing these core things, we're not going to get anywhere. Because what people fail to understand is that it was the American way of life. It was the idea of the nuclear family that's been attacked and defeated. Not just attacked, defeated. That is going to cause a cultural change, a cultural shift that if we don't get on top of, it doesn't matter who you vote in office. Because by the time these kids are adults and they're the ones filling those shoes in office, they aren't going to give a damn. They aren't going to give a damn about any of it. Look at what's coming up. It's scary. How do you think they got it that way? How do you think that they got all these kids confused about which gender they are? Because they took dad out of the home. But damn us for telling the truth. Damn us for wanting to fix the problem. Damn us for talking about things that people don't want to hear. So much easier to talk about Russian nukes in space and how we may all die tomorrow. Believe it or not, yeah, that's an easier topic for people to talk about than what's going on in the family court system. But I'm the failure. I'm the failure. I'm the guy in preparedness that's trying to tell people, look, we better think a little bit further ahead to something called recovery when all these prepper channels are stuck on survival. What about after survival? You've got a step after that, and if you don't take that step after survival, your survival is only limited to what you have possessions, to what you have supplies for. If you have nothing set up for recovery, no way to be able to plant, harvest, and process enough food for the humans and the animals, you're shitting yourself. But I can't have that discussion either now, can I? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Not being somebody that lets society and mainstream media lead around by the nose. Because we're a lot more focused. We don't get yanked every which way by the news cycle. It's amazing. Really, truly is how far fucked up they got this country. You couldn't have told me 20 years ago. There's no damn way 20 years ago that you could tell me where we would be at today. I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it. I remember watching the movie Idiocracy and having concern about the future, don't get me wrong, but I never thought we would be that way. I never thought we'd be that far out of touch. We've made it. We literally have a president in office who barely can remember anything at this point. Can't even remember where he's supposed to stand at. You can't tell me that we aren't knocking on the door of idiocracy. Folks, we have to fix this nation, and it's got to start in the homes. And before that can start, it has to start in our own hearts and in our own minds. And that's just a fact. And at this point, we're going to have to sacrifice a whole hell of a lot if we truly want this nation back. That means you're going to have to deal with the $15 cheeseburger that you can't afford to buy, so you have to cook at home. Oh, poor you. That's right. Absolutely. Right, I said idiocracy is here now. Absolutely. You are 100% correct. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I wished there was a better answer. I wish there was a vote we could cast. I wish, but there's not. The workload is going to fall back on each and every one of us. And until we're ready to do it, better enjoy where you're at. I don't. I've been there too damn long. I would really like to see my kids. Anyway, I guess now I can bitch and moan about little things. I get concerned when packages kind of bounce around the post office, you know. I usually start to be suspecting of an issue. And so I hadn't talked a lot about it, but I ordered an LED driver to replace my failing LED driver on my horticulture lighting group light. And incredible company, absolutely incredible company. So they got me squared away. I know I had previously said when I did talk about it that when I was able to order the new driver, since I had a light that had a couple of LEDs out on it. Let's see. I've actually got a picture of that. I had that's a quantum board is what that is. And there's a couple of red LEDs out right here. And so they said, well, when you're able to order the LED driver, we'll just replace that quantum board. So I thought, sweet. I didn't know when I was going to be able to do it. Luckily, I was able to get it ordered. And it was supposed to be delivered last Thursday. And, well, it didn't actually get to St. Louis until Friday. And then it bounced around back and forth. Literally bounced around. In fact, I got that. I had showed somebody. This was the this was the tracking on it. Will that expand? Yeah. This is the tracking on it. So shipping label was created on the 12th. They picked up the item on the 13th. It left Tennessee, not far, by the way, from Pinball Preparedness. Hi, Pinball. Right close to you there, Maynardville, Tennessee. And then made it St. Louis on the 15th, right? And that, I believe, was the Thursday. I would have to double check. Yes. So I knew I wasn't going to get on Thursday. I knew that anyway. But I figured, oh, Friday I'll get it. Friday, nope, not Saturday either. Of course, not Sunday. And then yesterday was a holiday. So I finally got it today. So thankfully got it today. However, this is what the box looked like. And from the angle, it really doesn't look quite as bad as what... but it looked like something really got shoved up into that damn thing. And we're talking about, well, this is the LED driver up here. But then there's a quantum board light in there. And luckily, nothing was damaged. So I got that all squared away. Got the quantum board installed, the new LED driver installed. It's checked out. Everything's working. So Now if I can ever get seeds to germinate, then I might be onto something. But I've got my temperature fluctuations, I think, are way too much to get those seeds to germinate. So I gotta fix that problem. So what I think I'm gonna do is I do have a seed germination mat, but it's not anything super special. It's just a cheap little seed germination mat, and it's not temperature controlled or nothing. You plug her in and she's there. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to go back to what I was doing, trying to germinate them. But I'm going to put something over the top. I think we got a large, clearish kind of translucent, a Tupperware type container. We've even got, because, we're so redneck, our Tupperware consists of empty ice cream containers, right? Well, we got so many damn empty butter containers and ice cream containers. Why not? So anyway, I might steal, she didn't hear this, I might steal one of the ice cream containers and use it to cover what the seeds, exactly, humidity dome, and also with it being covered like that, it'll help retain that heat from the germination mat inside of that dome a little better. So I have a feeling that I might be able to get something kicked off by doing that. I'm going to start that tomorrow. And now that I got my light back in there, that light will help too, because as long as the light is on, it will keep it. And I might just plug the light straight in. And then that way the light isn't shutting off. Because otherwise it'd be like, it stays on 18 hours and off 6. And that's how you technically first start them out. But I might just plug the light straight in without it being on the timer, and then so that way it will keep the heat consistent in there. So I think that's probably what was hurting me. I am not Mr. Farmer, Mr. Gardener. I have managed so far to be able to grow fairly well, so I don't know just how much of a temperature fluctuation would cause me issues. You have to understand, these are seeds that I intentionally pollinated a plant so that it would produce seeds. So these are seeds that I intentionally produced, and I had been using them the last couple of years. So I don't know if my seeds over the last couple of years, if they've gone bad, or if it's because I've got too much temperature fluctuation and all that other nonsense going on. I don't know. I'm hoping that my seeds aren't all bad. I would think not. I got quite a few, so but they could be bunk. I have no idea. So I know I did throw some in water, because typically if I've got good seeds, I'll put them in water and you watch for them to crack open and get a little tail, and then you plop them in your soil. And I put, and again, it could be the temperature not being right. I've thrown a bunch of them in water and just watched them. And, there was a couple that would crack open, but they would never grow a tail. But in all fairness, that heater I've got sitting over there, that's where I had it. I put a plate on top of the heater because it's warm. Well, a little more than warm. And, of course, when the heater shuts off, it gets cool. So I don't know if that amount of temperature fluctuation could have, killed my process there or not. So going to try again tomorrow. I think I'm going to plug that light in directly just so it have 24 hours of light, but I think that'd be fine for at least starting it, getting them to sprout. I think that'd probably be fine. So I'm going to try. I don't know. Trying a different fertilizer this time around too. What is it? Advanced micronutrients or advanced nutrients or something like that. It's supposed to automatically regulate my pH level. So that'd be nice, not having to sit there and fight with the pH level all the time. But somebody here locally said they've used that particular brand before and wasn't really impressed. So we'll see. I've been using Fox Farms all the way up till now. So coffee. All right. I reckon we could do some news. It seems like, oh yeah, that's why we're here. What a notion. So anyway, as I said earlier, I'm more concerned with this whole Neuralink thing than I am by Russian missiles in space. And because you know what? I've said it the last 2 nights, I think. There's been Russian missiles in space for decades. And there's been U.S. missiles in space for decades. I don't know status on China. I would imagine they probably have something up there, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, that's old Cold War stuff. We were dealing with that stuff in the 80s. First Neuralink patient controls computer mouse with thoughts, says Musk. Says here Elon Musk has announced that the first patient to receive the Neuralink brain chip is fully recovered from the operation to implant it and is already capable of interacting with the computer using thought. It's like it's a little more than thought. It starts out with anger and leads to get thrown out the fourth floor window. Oh wait, no, that's not what. No, I'm actually not that way. I'm pretty good. I stay pretty calm when I run into issues working on stuff. Ain't nothing but a thing. I just deal with it. It says the billionaire initially reported that the chip was successfully implanted late last month after Neuralink received approval for human trial recruitment in September. The surgery involving using a specifically designed robot to place the computer chip, which is about the size of a coin, with ultra-thin flexible threads in the region of the brain which controls the intention to move. Neuralink has explained the chip is then used to record and transmit brain signals wirelessly to an app that decodes movement and intention. In an update during a Spaces event on Monday, Musk stated that progress is good and that the patient has made a full recovery with no ill effects that we are aware of. That's reassuring. Additionally, he claimed that the unnamed person implanted with the Neuralink chip is now capable of moving a computer mouse around the screen by just thinking. Neuralink is now trying to get as many precise mouse movements and left and right mouse button clicks as possible from the patient in order to have anonymous volunteer click, drag, and hold objects, Musk added. The startup has claimed that the ultimate goal of the project, dubbed the Prime study, is to develop fully implantable wireless brain-computer interface that would at first grant people the ability to control a computer cursor or keyboard using their thoughts alone, and later make way for groundbreaking treatments for people suffering from various physical disabilities such as paralysis and blindness, as well as illness like obesity, autism, depression, and schizophrenia. Wait a minute. Illnesses like obesity? You're going to make it easier for them to move the fork to their mouth? That may not help. Musk has also argued that humanity needs to develop new forms of interacting with computers and processing information in order to ensure the survival of the human race in a world dominated by artificial intelligence. In an interview with Joe Rogan in 2018, the billionaire suggested that aside from curing disabilities, and by the way, I'm all for that, Neuralink could also one day allow humans to communicate without words and possibly achieve a state of symbiosis with AI, which he expects to be ubiquitous in the future. I'm not so much in symbiosis with that idea. No. And that's what I think a lot of us fear, you know? I mean, the whole Yeah, no thank you, because it's okay once it's the computer controlling the robot. But when it's the robot controlling the person, or when it's the person controlling the robot, but when the robot's controlling the person, not so much. Not so much. So anyway, this same cat has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Norwegian Member of Parliament has proposed giving the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize to Elon Musk, arguing that the South African entrepreneur, come on, call him an African American, he enjoys it, with his acquisition of Twitter and by providing the Ukrainian military and satellite communications. Now, I'm not quite so sure how helping out the ability for war is peaceful, but that didn't stop Obama either, now did it? In the nomination put forth on Tuesday, Marius Nilsson of the Progress Party argued that Musk deserves the prize for his adamant defense of dialogue, free speech, and enabling the possibility to express one's views in a world he described as continuously more polarized. Echo chambers and yes people do not bring forth the best ideas and cooperation, but decline and regression, complementary views, opinions, and processes of thoughts unlocks the best ideas, Nielsen said. Nilsson, maybe. He also noted Ukraine's use of Starlink, a satellite system operated by Musk's SpaceX, to communicate, coordinate, and withstand the attack from Russia. Previously best known for being the head of the Tesla electric car company and the owner of SpaceX, Musk bought Twitter, since rebranded as X in October, and goes into the rest of the history of what he's done. But, hey, I'd rather see him get it than a lot of other people. I mean, I'm really kind of shocked that Biden isn't nominated, you know? Maybe he is. I don't know. I may not know. I just may be dumb there. He might be nominated. I wouldn't doubt it. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't doubt it. And I wouldn't put it past him getting the nomination or, getting it. I mean, we are in bizarro world. Coffee. Yum yum. Let's see. U.S. legislators propose revised Ukraine aid package, says The Hill. Didn't somebody say yesterday that we better keep a close eye on what the other hand is doing? Because it felt like we were being distracted from something? Nah, I don't know what I'm talking about. A bipartisan group of representatives have put forward a reworked foreign aid and border security package that includes support for Ukraine, The Hill reports. Republican Brian Fitzpatrick and Democrat Jared Golden have allegedly urged their colleagues to pass the bill in short order, playing up the dire situation Kiev is currently in. Congressional Republicans have for months refused to greenlight Biden's foreign aid package, which calls for the allocation of $60 billion to Kiev. They insist that they will keep blocking the legislation until the current administration tightens controls along the U.S.-Mexico border and stems the flow of illegal migrants. Washington has already provided Kiev with $44.2 billion in defense aid. Amid the deadlock in Congress, the Biden administration announced last month that it had run out of funding for Ukraine. Remember, though, during the whole COVID thing, they just didn't have much for the American people. Not only did they not have much for the American people, they just couldn't let the American people go on about their business either. It's the most ridiculous nonsense. In this article on Monday, The Hill cited a letter to the House reportedly penned by Fitzpatrick and Golden in which they proposed to earmark approximately $47 billion for Ukraine, none for you, $10 billion for Israel, none for you, $5 billion for the Indo-Pacific, none for you, and $2 billion to support U.S. Central Command operations, none for you. The plan also features border provisions, we might do something someday, including reinstating the Remain in Mexico policy for 1 year, the media outlet claimed. Well, how mighty white of them. The Hill quoted the letter as saying, Ukraine's position is imperiled with its troops running out of ammunition and withdrawing from the east, paving the way for Russia's further advance. This is a direct result of Congress's gridlock, the two lawmakers concluded. They reportedly noted that without American arms and ammunition, Ukraine may fail. Well, too damn bad. And by the way, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. Kikin says he doesn't want any of their tainted blood money, and I concur. In fact, that's why I wouldn't be in any way, shape, or form involved with the whole stimulus stuff. Nope, I didn't get a dime of stimulus money. I don't want a dime of that stimulus money. Don't want it. They turned their backs on the American people a long damn time ago. And if they're going to abandon us, nah, because that came with catches that the American people have yet to know about. Just wait. Just wait. Hang on. Crazy. More headlines. I was just putting that out real quick. So it'll be there when we get there. Oh, anyway. When when you're over the target, when they really start coming after you from every direction. And that's what's largely happening to the farmers in Poland right now. I'm expecting any moment now for them to just straight up call them terrorists. It says here, Polish farmers blocking defense aid from reaching Kiev, says activists. Polish farmers demanding an end to the inflow of cheaper produce are blocking trucks carrying Kiev-bound military aid, a Ukrainian activist has claimed. The protesters had earlier vowed to disrupt the transportation of goods not only through vehicle checkpoints but also via rail. Polish truckers and farmers began staging regular blockades on the border with Ukraine in October 2023, protesting against the EU's decision to exempt Ukrainian haulers from having to seek permits to enter the bloc. The activists insist that the measures introduced since the conflict between Moscow and Kiev erupted in early 2022 have led to unfair competition and driven down the price of agricultural produce. The blockades were briefly lifted in January after the government in Warsaw pledged to reinstate a permit system for Ukrainian truckers and introduce subsidies for Polish corn. However, protests resumed earlier this month after the European Commission proposed extending the suspension of customs duties on agricultural goods from Ukraine and Moldova through 2025. And again, they are just going to continue to go after these truckers. This is a trucker boycott. So the American people know, this is a trucker boycott. Not running our mouth on Twitter. That's not a trucker boycott. That's running your mouth on Twitter. Russia comments on nukes in space allegation. Again, this whole thing is moot because there's been weapons in space. There's a lot more dangerous weapons than nukes in space, and that's what really blows my mind about this whole damn fear-mongering bit with this anyway, because I'm much more concerned with the rods from God and from the laser systems and from the EMP systems. And I mean, really, nuclear missiles is like sticks and stones at this point. It really, truly is. Let's see. And this is the last article before I do the headlines. And I need a little time to think on this before I really put myself, but I do have a little bit of an issue here. It says U.S. state rules frozen embryos are children. This is Alabama. And by the way, I'm like very much against abortion. I'm very much against these designer kids kind of thing that they're starting to do. But I have a hard time calling it a child if it's not fertilized. At that point, once an embryo is fertilized, then we can discuss whether or not it's a child at that point, and have an honest discussion, because I'd be all for making that ruling that once an egg is fertilized, then it's a child, and I'm good with that. I would be good with that, but before it's fertilized, not so much. And that's taking a scientific approach at it. You know, we have to have foundation, and that's the reason why we can get so screwed up to begin with in this country, is because the lack of a foundation. And one of the reasons they were able to take everything so far with COVID was because of a lack of foundation. The reason they're able to take so far with all this stuff with kids choosing their gender every other day is because of a lack of foundation. We no longer have a foundation, not even a scientific foundation, and that's pretty damn scary, to tell you the truth. So I have a really hard time standing behind something like this, which I feel has a lack of foundation. If an egg is not fertilized, how do you really call it a child? Right? Am I now committing mass murder when I eat a plate full of eggs? No. Why? Because hopefully the eggs I'm eating are not fertilized. But I'll be good with the mass murder and eat the damn chicken too. So, you know, there's that. But I like chicken. I better shut up. I'm going to have a dog up my butt the rest of the night if I don't keep my mouth shut. I done mentioned two of her favorite foods. Sorry. I guess I probably know what I'm making tomorrow for supper. Looking to see if I was getting glared at. So anyway, yeah. This here says Supreme Court of the U.S. state of Alabama has ruled that frozen embryos created as part of fertility treatments are to be considered children under the state law and are therefore subject to legislation regarding the wrongful death of a minor child. In its ruling, Alabama's top court said on Friday that a state law enacted in 1872 that permits parents to sue over the death of a minor applies to all unborn children regardless of their location. It's also cited anti-abortion terminology in the state's constitution as being central to its judgment. The decision follows wrongful death lawsuits brought against a fertility clinic by a group of in vitro fertilization patients whose frozen embryos were accidentally destroyed when they were dropped on the floor at a fertility clinic in December of 2020. Unborn children are children under the Act, which, without exception, based on developmental stage, physical location, or any other ancillary characteristics, Justice J. Mitchell wrote. Justice Mitchell said that a prior ruling of court had determined that fetuses killed during pregnancy fall under the terms of Alabama's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. He added that extrauterine outside of a biological uterus children cannot be excluded from the Act's coverage. So maybe scientifically, maybe I'm not smart. Is an embryo, is at that point, is that a fertilized egg? Is that when it becomes an embryo? Because then I didn't have an argument from what I was saying earlier. If that's the case. I don't know. I don't know. Frozen cry. Good question, much tested. I would think so. I would think that frozen cryogenic adults are people. I would think. I would hope. I mean, because they're people that, like, their dumbass went and got frozen. I mean, as far as I know, there are people that actually have done that. Okay, thank you, much tested. Thank you. So then I don't even have an argument. Because, yeah, I think if an egg gets fertilized, then, yeah, you've definitely got room to have an argument there. I, for whatever dumb reason, didn't realize that an embryo was actually a fertilized egg. So, yeah, they do have an argument there, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But that's because scientifically, that's the beginning of life. I know that there's a big argument about when life begins and blah, blah, blah. Really, I think life begins the moment that an egg gets fertilized. To me, that's common sense. That's common sense. The only ones that argue that is the people that want to kill babies. So I really can't take their opinions too seriously. But, and I'm not, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there are certainly instances to where a child may need to be aborted. When it comes to health, if it's going to threaten the mother's well-being, if it's a child that was conceived unwillingly, in cases of rape, stuff like that. But I don't think that it should be just willy-nilly, just go in, sign some papers, and kill the kid. And that's just my opinion. I know that people are all over the dartboard with that one. And I must say, Howard Stern almost had my opinion changed on that years ago. And he does bring up a good point. What's worse, aborting an unborn baby or putting it through a life of hell? And while that's a good point, that's not the only option. If you can't provide a loving, a good home for that child, you can always give the child up for adoption. There are other answers. It's not a matter of those are the only two options. Kill the kid or the child lives in hell. It's not the only two options. If it were the only two options, I would say that would be at least somewhat of a valid argument. But there's other options. So anyway, and again, all that's opinion. That means nothing. So, coffee. Coffee does mean something. Surprised I ain't catching a bunch of hell from the dog back there. I made some hardtack. I'd never made hardtack before, right? Now, I don't have teeth, so I can't really eat hardtack as it is. But I put hardtack in our little Ninja food chopper, and then I can eat it like that, all kind of, like a bag of weed or something. But so I put it in our food chopper, and I munch on it like that. It's actually good. I like it. Well, Blue likes it even better, and so she's taken out the entire bag of hardtack aside from what I've got in here. So tomorrow, I'm going to make up some more hardtack, but I'm going to make it with, we've got some beef bouillon. So I'm going to make her some hardtack with beef bouillon. So I can get off the shit list. Oh, man. She's not spoiled or anything, no. Alright. Let's see. We're going to start out with an oldie but a goodie. Biden's ancestor was court-martialed for stabbing a fellow soldier, says Washington Post. I don't know why that's important to know, but that's important to know, says Washington Post. You know, the newspaper that 2 years ago wouldn't say a damn bad thing about them. Oh yeah, them. Taliban boycotts UN-sponsored meeting. Well, how dare they? Germany likely in recession, says Bundesbank. How many times are we going to just say that, oh, this country might be in recession? Dude, we've all been in recession for like years now. A small EU country becomes Russia's biggest whiskey supplier, says media. I didn't know Kentucky was a country. I'm kidding. Putin gives Kim Jong-un luxury automobile. Where's our show? Little rocket man gets a new whip. China tells Ukraine it does not sell lethal weapons to conflicting sides. Ukraine is growing weaker by the day, says Musk. You're going to lose your Nobel Prize nomination if you keep up there, buddy. U.S. legislators propose, not purpose, and I already read that. EU extends Russia sanctions. A woman killed in Ukrainian shelling of Russian city, says acting governor. Some Russians in exile want to disrupt the election, says Moscow. Beijing criticizes proposed U.S. sanctions. World leaders no longer working toward peace, says Serbian president. Chinese competitor to Boeing and Airbus makes international debut. Speaking of that, I still don't know what was wrong. Y'all know I enjoy Microsoft Flight Simulator. And there's a program in it that I really enjoy called Flow. And the biggest reason that I like Flow, I don't even really use it as much as what it's made for, but it changes the name tags of the people to a much more aesthetic, less frame-heavy name tag. And so that's really all I use the Flow program for. And anyway, it broke. So I updated it, and the stupid thing broke. So I took all the aircraft out of, okay, so we have a community folder, and all of your mods, all of your aircraft, all that, you put in a community folder, and that's how the simulator knows it's there and reads it from there. So I had to pull all the aircraft out of the community folder, which there was a ton of them in there. And I finally got the Flow Pro back to working. Started putting the aircraft back in a little bits at a time until I found the one that broke it. And I'll be damned if none of them broke it. I mean, I got all the same aircraft I had in there before, but now it works. That was kind of a... that took me quite a while today. I spent several hours today fighting with that. But I got it taken care of. Let's see. World leaders no longer working toward peace. Oh, I already said that. And no duh. Russia adds U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham to list of terrorists. Well, good job. I would concur. Afghan forces blocked from UK resettlement, says BBC. Israel scribbled out in baby's birth certificate in the UK. How dare they? Ukraine military aid delayed over NATO funding row, says media. Russia is defeating the West, says Maduro. Russian spy chief comments on death of defector pilot in Spain. Oh yeah, he's dead. Russian oil giant reports almost 50% profit surge. It's because nobody quit buying oil from you. They just started hiding it. Dutch court denies Russia's appeal of $50 billion UCOS award. Venezuela will join BRICS soon, says Maduro. Kiev has right to demand return of draft dodgers, says the UN. Scientists warn against miracle Alzheimer drugs. Assange supporters rally outside UK extradition hearing. Moscow reveals details on capture of I have no idea how you're supposed to say that. Avdiivka, and I'm probably way wrong. Alexander the Great Netflix series is fiction, says Greek minister. Well, good. I've seen that on there, because I either watch Netflix or Prime when we go to bed. Now I'm back on Prime because I done watched out of everything on Netflix. Sucks, man, and they keep pumping their prices up, and I don't know. I don't know if we'll have it much longer, because it's like, well, we got the like $22.99 one, the $23 one, and it's just like, is it worth it? Not so much. They really don't have a whole lot of new stuff on there. I don't know. I'd be half tempted to make a deal with her and get rid of Netflix and re-get, what the hell do you call it? Kindle Unlimited. But I don't read that many books. I know she's more likely to read books than I am, because I only read one particular genre of books. By the way, no, I didn't get Joe's book review done today. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Let's see. Police seek culprit who put Palestine sticker on Amy Winehouse statue. How dare you? Gays are welcome in Russia, says Putin. But he also said kids are off limit. He made that very clear. Kids are off limit. Elon Musk I covered that. And that. British artist bends award over government's Israel backing. Russia denounces Israel's inhumane plans for Gaza. Israel has the same Western support as Hitler, says Maduro. Son of Ukraine's top general says he wants Russian citizenship. Ruh-roh. EU candidate country rejects demands to sanction Russia. Russian church blasts Vatican over gay blessings. U.S. blocks third Gaza ceasefire push at the UN. So, those would be the headlines. And I'm going to boogie on out of here so I can make some tea and go to bed. Fun times. I can't wait till I can germinate some damn seeds and make a different kind of tea. HC. But anyway. Oh, man. I am tired, though. I am going to get out of here so I can get some rest. And God willing, I'll be back here tomorrow to be even a bigger thorn in the sides of whoever I can manage to be a thorn in the side of. Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming. Hopefully I'm not a thorn in your side. And I hope to see you tomorrow night. So, alrighty, folks. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.